Country Variety, 94.3, the Ox getting booked off on your Monday morning, 8:30 now. Time for Coffee Talk, brought to you by Comanche Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture. Check them out at hashtag Explore Comanche, Texas, as we say good morning to Cynthia Newton from Hope Counseling. How we doing?
Good morning. I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there. It's about all we can do,
Hey,
isn't
you
it?
know it's May.
I heard that.
Wow.
I know. My, how time flies, doesn't it?
School's out in 2 weeks.
Oh, boy.
For
Yeah.
my kids, anyway.
There you go.
But yeah, wow. Anyway, so just thought I'd remind
Throw
you
that
it's
out there.
May.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
May.
Yeah.
Any
April's
parents out
gone.
there, you know, we've survived the year almost.
Almost. The school year.
The school, well,
Yeah.
year. We've survived the school year without major catastrophes and COVID shutdowns for this area, I will say.
Right.
Kudos to the teachers and the staff and everybody that's made that successful.
Absolutely.
I know that was hard work. I know that it cost a lot of money and
Sure.
tapped into a lot of resources. So thank you to teachers, administrations, and everybody that made this a successful year for our children. I
Absolutely.
do appreciate that.
Yep.
So
No small feat.
no, it wasn't. It doesn't go unnoticed. So anyway, I'm sure that teachers are ready for a break.
Absolutely. They deserve one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So today we're actually going to talk a little bit about children.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't realize how things that happen in our home can really adversely affect children. And we think, oh, it's just between me and my spouse or me and my partner or whoever. I mean, my boyfriend, my girlfriend. But yet, in the end, the actual effects that it has on our children are even at a higher level than it affects those in a relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got it. I'm going to talk a little bit about domestic violence and how does that affect children, and what do you see and how to help them. So there's a lot that goes on with it. But basically, when exposed to domestic violence, children may become anxious or depressed because they feel hopeless and powerless about their conditions, which they are. I mean, they can't change what's going on when their parents are in the midst of domestic violence. And domestic violence is not just a physical. Okay, people think of domestic violence as just physical, but it can be verbal. It can be emotional. There can be all sorts of things that they're hearing. Just hearing mom and dad fight or two adults fighting, just arguing is considered traumatic for kids.
Sure.
So studies have shown that girls tend to internalize their problems and demonstrate more depressive signs and symptoms than boys. On the contrary, boys usually show aggression and hostility towards their peers, which is not surprising if you think about that. Living in a violent household makes children believe that the world is not safe because their parents cannot protect them, leading to low self-esteem and depression. In many instances, these children feel guilty about their predicament and blame themselves for their parents' violence. Consequently, they experience emotional distress, anxiety, and depression. These are big things. I mean, this was my opener. It's like, oh my gosh, you think about that and just think about one little argument. I mean, not one little, but one big argument and how that might manifest for a child because they don't understand. Children from violent homes may have sleep difficulty that may persist into adulthood or old age. Research shows that stress affects sleep quality during adulthood. Remember, we talked about sleep last week and how important that was. And, when you look at the effects of domestic violence in children and how that can actually cause sleep difficulty, it's kind of amazing to think that, oh wow, this can go on into adulthood. So it can contribute to daytime dysfunction among many children, fatigue, and again, depression.
It's even more important in kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Experiencing chronic stress during childhood alters endocrine systems, which regulate sleep, leading to long-term sleep-term problems. So realize, it messes with those brain chemicals like we talked about last week. Children exposed to parental violence experience nightmares or flashbacks. Youngsters usually experience nightmares and flashbacks late in the night, making them feel frightened, scared, distressed, and anxious. Most children who experience nightmares and flashbacks try to describe the scary dreams to their parents, however, are frightened to do so. Nightmares and flashbacks among children result from frightening memories of parental violence or worries due to such violence, sometimes just the fear that it's going to happen again. Family violence causes anxiety in children, which in turn causes these nightmares and flashbacks. So again, realize that the poor sleep patterns and sleeping difficulties may also make children wake up during the night and experience nightmares, okay? So not just the violence, but the sleeping patterns and all of that as well. Partner violence may extend to children in different forms. So if if you're a couple and you're having domestic violence issues and such as that, it's going to extend through neglect, physical abuse of the children, forcing them to leave the house or be removed by CPS, because if there's domestic violence and CPS does get involved, they can remove the children if they feel like the children are unsafe in that environment. Scary thing. I mean, it's not worth it. Find ways, get help, find ways to get away. Physical separation between children and their parents may exacerbate their stress, anxiety, and depression. Children exposed can be startled easily compared to those from nonviolent households. We see this with PTSD. They have demonstrated that childhood adversity creates emotional scars, which rapidly reopens when exposed to traumas. So you may see things like a startle response. Physical assault on a woman during pregnancy can actually injure a child, leading to their hyperactive stress systems, physiological programming, resulting in inflammation as they grow up. That was a lot of big words, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, it can actually cause problems in utero while the baby's developing, and can lead to anxiety and stress that may cause hyperactivity in children. Similar to what, and the startle response is similar to what we see in veterans as well. Wow. So as they experience the hyperactivity and become frightened, that exhibits things such as, I don't know what happened, but hello, such as things we see with veterans, I'm sorry. They may complain of physical symptoms such as tummy aches due to stress. Family violence causes psychosomatic effects on children, including backaches, headaches, stomach pains. Some studies refer to these as physical illness associated with mental issues like stress or internal conflicts. Psychosomatic disorders emanate from poor conditions between mind and body. All right, so basically what you're looking at is some mental conditions may discourage children from eating or taking care of themselves, leading to physical problems that they may be dealing with as associated to trauma that they're seeing. Chronic exposure causes PTSD in children with far-reaching consequences. As I've already said it, nightmares, flashbacks, sleep difficulty, concentration problems, physical symptoms. All of these things are huge when you're dealing with children. You think about the fact they're trying to go to school and they're trying to learn, and you may see things like them starting to wet their beds. The changes in their life resulting in disturbed sleep or other effects that could cause more significant issues. Changes in appetite. They may have school problems. They may become aggressive and fight with their classmates. Do not want to follow school instructions. Children exposed to violence may see violence as normal behavior in a relationship. Thus, they end up as a victim or a victim of violence or the abuser itself. That's that cycle we hear. So they see that, they hear it, so they think that's normal. Right. Warning signs include, again, bedwetting, dreams, nightmares, adult distrust, acting tough, poor attachment to caregivers. Children may isolate themselves from close relatives, friends, and family members because they don't trust. Behavioral effects include fighting with their siblings or other family members. They use social learning theory to adopt parental abusive behaviors and exercise them on their peers. So those brought up often experience teen dating violence that can include sexual harassment, assault, and mental abuse. Such individuals may perpetrate the violent acts or be their victims in a relationship. These children, particularly boys, exercise pure autonomy in relationships and interactions with others. Therefore, many children exposed to violence face challenges in developing healthy social relationship with peers and family members. So realize just that exposure in itself makes them not understand what a true and good and healthy relationship is.
Absolutely.
A growing body has demonstrated that the exposure affects young people's school performance, as we've stated. A lot of children can decide to drop out, miss school. School failure includes the inability to fulfill teaching objectives, poor performance. They may also have things such as juvenile delinquency, drug and substance abuse, which can cause interdisciplinary issues with school administration and suspension and eventual poor performance in life. Children who grow up in violent households also have lowered sense of self-worth than those who grow up in nonviolent families. Children with low self-esteem approach life challenges feeling uneasy about their capabilities, leading to poor performance. Many children also demonstrate out-of-control behaviors compared to their peers with developmentally appropriate behaviors. They may fail to respond to parental discipline even when used consistently. So why should I respond when I don't know what's going on around me, when I'm not safe, when you're fighting, you're arguing? Older children may begin to use alcohol or drugs or commit juvenile crimes. Young people may end up in jail or have early pregnancy compared to their peers. Intimate partner violence can cause substantial eating disorders among children, such as anorexia or bulimia, binge eating, several different types of eating disorders that you can see. It also research shows high rates of suicidal ideation and self-harm among children who are exposed to domestic violence in their home. That challenges in academics and difficulties in developing healthy social relationships may make some children develop these ideations during adolescence or adulthood. Parental violence also makes children have low self-efficacy, and therefore it makes the children and adolescents undervalue their self-worth and ability to deal with their problems. Family violence may also force children to run away from home or refuse to go home altogether. Young children often develop an avoidant attachment to the abusive parent by failing to seek their attention. Older children may run away from home due to neglect, physical, or psychological abuse. That's a lot of information, and you're sitting here going, okay, what do we do? What do we do to help these kids? Basically, watch for the signs, watch for the symptoms, watch for these things going on. And I brought up teachers and faculties and administration in school. That's often these kids' safe place. Okay, they go there, they spend hours and hours and hours with you every day. You see changes in them.
Sure.
Look for those red flags. Get help. Talk to the family. Ask for parent conferences. Do these things. If you can't, seek out other options. Parents, if you are arguing, if you're constantly fighting in front of your kids, realize the effects you may be having on your children. You're going to have arguments. No relationship is perfect. You're going to have arguments. You're going to have issues. You're going to have things that come up. Do not discuss those in front of the children.
Right.
It is not their place. Their job is to be a kid. Their job is to not take on the aspects of the relationship, of your relationship. Find a way to get away, talk about it, work through those problems, but put your kids first in all of these things and realize that you can be causing long-term effects on them. Just even a simple argument that gets very loud can actually affect a child. It doesn't have to turn physical.
That's what I was going to say. You say domestic violence, and a lot of people automatically think, hitting on each other. But
right.
The words can be just as bad.
The words, I mean,
your
absolutely.
mom's just being dramatic. Well, dad's an idiot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. That adds up.
Yeah, and it teaches children again, this is what's normal in a relationship, is you sit there and you argue all the time. No, that's not normal.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to have disagreements, but you have to learn how to work them through in a healthy manner. Don't hesitate to ask for help. Get some counseling. Get the needs that you need. Make sure your children get help. Give them a safe place to talk. This does not mean you're a bad parent. Sometimes we just need to learn better coping strategies. Okay? So just realize, hey, you know what? Maybe this is going on. I need some help. We're here to help you. Hope Counseling of Texas with 4 offices in Comanche, Dublin, Hamilton, and Eastland. Please feel free to reach out to us. Summer's coming. It's fixing to be crazy. The kids
You're
are going to be
stuck
home.
with those kids.
You're not going to have as much time to be away from them, so be very aware that these things are affecting your children. Make sure you're taking time for yourself. Make sure you're learning as adults to take good coping strategies, watching for signs in your kids. Get them the help that they need just to be able to have that safe place. Again, Hope Counseling of Texas, 325-356-1105. We're located in Hamilton, Comanche, Eastland, and Dublin.
All right, Cynthia
All right.
Newton, thanks so much
Thank
for all you do.
And I'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Have you seen CD rates recently? Have you looked at the performance of your IRA?
Did it try to cut off on us?